Oh, hi everyone, and welcome to this month's webinar. Thank you for joining us. This month we're going to be talking about, I guess, the daunting things about starting a business and how we at Travel Counsellors can help you with that. Those of you who watched last month's webinar would know that it was all about earnings. Well, this month's webinar is all about how we can help you to get those earnings. But just to start off, as you all know, or for those of you who've seen our webinars before, you can contact us live during the show at connect@travelcounsellors.com.au, or you can phone us on 1300 889 123, and both of those channels will be open after the show as well if you want to call me or talk to me about anything then. But just to kick off, I thought today we would talk a little bit about TC and who we are. So we'll jump through to a PowerPoint and go through that. So as you would know, or may or may not know, we do operate in 7 countries around the world, and we currently have just over 1,550 travel counsellors now in those 7 countries. Our head office a global head office in Manchester, and we have nearly 1,000, or we say nearly 1,000, but 979 TCs in the UK now. Our Netherlands and Belgian office, which is in The Hague, is 180 now. South Africa in Cape Town, 144 operating there, and just recently we've started operating in Botswana and Namibia as well. We have our Australian head office here, which is of course undoubtedly the best, and we're sitting at around 145 travel counsellors across Australia at the minute. Our friends in Ireland, 64, and the UAE now has a little bit more than 40, I think, based on current numbers of recruitment. So who are we? We were established in 1994 by a gentleman by the name of David Speakman, and until recently David was still our chairman. In 2015 we had over $870 million in sales, so we're not a little company, we're quite big. As I said on the previous slide, 1,515 travel counsellors now worldwide, and 145 of those in Australia. We operate in 7 countries, although technically with Namibia and Botswana it's now 9. One of the important things also is that we have over 350 head office support staff that help you support your business around the globe. And we're the only travel company to have won 2 Queen's Awards for enterprise. Now what that means, and it doesn't mean a whole lot to us in Australia, but it's a really very important award that the Queen herself awards, obviously, and you go to Buckingham Palace and you get the button off the Queen. So that's a really major achievement, and we're the only travel company to have done that. Our NPS score is 96, which places us ahead of companies such as Apple and Harley Davidson, which are known for their customer service. It's actually just been rated as the highest NPS score of any business in the world of any kind. So we're very, very proud of that, and it shows who we are as a company and how we care for our customers and our agents as well. 97% of the agents who have joined Travel Counsellors wouldn't return to their previous job, and 96% rate their job satisfaction as high or very high. So their agent retention rate is 90% plus. And just, I guess, to touch on how you can become a travel counsellor, we obviously have a few options. We obviously have leisure agents, corporate agents, and we also run a return to travel course for anyone who might have been out of the industry for a little bit and wants to return. We also like to talk about the salaries. I know that was last month's theme and not this month's, but it's certainly always poignant to remember that you can earn money, and you do earn it quickly once you decide to start your own business with Travel Counsellors. So you can see that our average year 1 earning of someone who comes into the business without a database at all is $43,000. In your second year it moves up to around 64, and in your third year 80. That's obviously putting in full-time hours and things like that, but that's just an idea of the type of salaries you can earn as someone who's just starting out in the business without a database, but with the right attitude. And you can also see the other slides there show our top sellers and our average for our top 10 sellers as well. So the next steps, which seems a little weird after this at the start of the thing, but as we go through the webinar tonight, we will talk about a few more things. But it's about booking onto an information session with me, giving me a buzz. Then we'll show you the systems, and then we'll follow on from there. But just jumping back and talking about tonight's webinar in particular, what we would like to say, or what we're going to talk about tonight, is, I guess, the jump to starting your own business and how we can help you support you in that, and how you can go from zero to hero, as our webinar is titled tonight. So there are quite often, concerns and walking away from a salary, moving into a commission role. Will you have enough support? All of that kind of thing. But it really is how we can help you through that and what we can do. So what we've done to help you answer some of those questions is we're going to talk to one of our business development executives, Simon, and get him to talk through some of the stuff. But while we just kind of rearrange the studio and get Simon to come in, we're just going to go to a really short break. And now I've been joined by one of our business development executives, Simon Gash. Now I'll most often refer to our BD executives as business coaches or business mentors. But thanks for joining me, Simon.
No problem, thank you.
Can you just tell everyone a little bit about your role and what it is that you do here for the Travel Counsellors?
Yeah, so our role is more, I dare say, more business coaching. Yeah, so we do a fair bit of having a look at each individual's area of business, if you like, what they're wanting to achieve in business, as well as then helping them, achieve their goals and bring in some new business for them as well, be it, corporates or groups or anything like that. So it's a pretty open role in what we do. So we also assist with the networking opportunities, as well as growing a database that, in the beginning may be quite small. So it's all those little
So you're
things.
essentially here to help. So, I mean, sometimes I equate it when I'm talking to people who are looking to join as maybe their manager in their office or someone like that, in terms of being able to guide them through some
Very
things.
very much so. So it can be like a virtual manager almost, if you like, in the sense that we can also help with even a sales process, winning a particular booking, going through a thought process of putting a group together.
Yeah.
So anything and everything to aid success, basically.
Perfect. So, when someone's thinking of joining and they've made the decision and they're going to join up, they're coming to induction, what is the best way, or what can they do to help themselves launch their business?
I think the best thing that they can do is, once they know that Travel Counsellors is the path for them, is that business starts then. So they need to start thinking about, what they would like their business to be like, where they think their business is going to come from. And they can start using this from the early stage, even from pre-induction, with a little bit of, a few calls or chat, email, whatever it might be, just to start getting that process on the go.
Yeah, definitely. Now, one of the things that we ask everyone to do before they come to induction is to set up their contact centre, or to start their initial contact centre. Now, I know that we say we only really accept you when you've got 50 names and email addresses, but people go, 50, I don't know 50 people. What's the best way, or how can you kind of encourage people to know that they do have that many people to...
Yeah, now this can be very stressful for some people, where they think, I need to try and get 50 people who are potentially going to book with me, but it's not about that at all. We've had some obviously start with a lot more than that, or a lot less than that.
Yeah.
And then we'll help through the BD process and able to establish, who can go into that contact centre. And this is where it's all a thought process, because once you start your journey, if you like, of being a business owner, that's when you start thinking, well, every time you meet somebody, you start thinking, well, how can you help me in my business? So, oh, yep, I'll put your name in there, because it may not be that person directly that makes that booking, but it could be somebody else that they know that makes that booking. So we definitely open it all up.
Exactly right. And it's one of those things, like 50 does sound like a daunting number, but if you think about, your family, your friends, their friends, maybe your partner where they work, people that work with them, 50 is really quite easy to get, isn't it?
You'd be surprised.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised. And even after, 3 months and then 6 months, you look at people's contact centres after induction, and it's amazing how quickly they start growing.
Yeah. Now, we talk about the support that is dedicated to growing your business, and you briefly touched on that when we talked about your role.
Yep.
But what are some of the things that you can do to help people build their business? And we're not necessarily just talking about new travel counsellors, but even more established ones. What are some of the things that the BD coaches at Travel Counsellors do?
We do a lot of work in the sense of having a look at local area. We do, the old school work, if you like, of basically having a look and see what is around you. Not everybody has the same sort of suburb, location, and everything like that, and what may work for me may not work for you.
Yeah.
So we always do a very personal approach as well, in the sense of, how to market and find new business.
Yeah.
Some people would like the professional style of networking. Others find that very daunting. So we'll find something different for them.
Yeah.
Whether or not we speak to local businesses or all sorts of activities. It's so vast.
Yeah, it is. And it's actually, you just touched on something there as well, which is really important. Depending on those watching and what stage of the recruitment process that you're in, we do actually get everyone who joins us to do a personality profile. It's a really quick one, isn't it? But why do we do that, Simon? Like, why is it important to know how everyone kind of ticks or operates in that respect?
It's so cool. I mean, obviously we do it in here as well.
Yeah,
We've all done it. And everything. And that's actually quite a nice way, because it actually gives a lot of in-depth information about the individual, and what things, sort of what they do enjoy doing, and how best to bring the best out of that person, if you like. So that's something we can do under consultation as well, and talk the new TCs through it with them.
Yeah.
But it's actually quite a nice tool. So
don't be
if you're
scared.
wondering,
That's right. If I'm asking you to do an AVA, don't be scared. We're not psychoanalyzing you. We're just trying to figure out how best to communicate with you and how to help grow your business. Now, one of the other things that's really important or really unique to travel counsellors are our golden habits. Now, I don't want you to talk through them specifically, but can you just talk about what that framework of I guess, structure, or the framework of, I guess, it's that?
Well, our golden habits are quite unique, and are quite strong for each and everyone's individual business. Now, when you see our golden habits and you sort of think, oh yeah, I know that, or yep, I'll do this, and yep, I'll do that. But it's quite amazing once a set pattern is taken on with respect to following our golden habits. It could be anything from making it as simple as a to-do list, to doing something about networking, or a bit of me management, taking time out for yourself to think about, your business, working, on it, not in it, all those sort of things.
Yeah.
It's quite amazing how the success rate then, from being novice business owner, if you like, to somebody quite successful and achieving amazing goals.
Yeah, and I guess in some ways it helps simplify it, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah, and it brings it back. And I guess that's another example of the support that is offered from head office, and even that about developing your business, is that we've gone back, we've asked the questions, we've talked to our gold travel counsellors, who you would know are our highest selling travel counsellors consultants, and asked them what they did to build their businesses, and then worked that into a series of habits for the whole business, which is great as well. Okay, so let's talk about the ongoing training and mentoring that happens in your role.
It doesn't stop. So with our mentoring and everything else, so for the first 12 weeks, we'll be predominantly speaking every single week.
Yep. So I'm going to stop you there. So in the first 12 weeks, we do have a new starter a new starter series, don't we? Where every week you have your business development meeting with with one of the BD team.
Correct.
And then we have a specific webinar based on different parts of your business, don't we?
Yeah. So we've got it all broken down into modules, where it's actually quite interactive too with the TCs. We do it via live webinar as well.
Yep.
Where it's more about interaction, and sort of see what works for others, what's worked for some, what hasn't worked for others.
Yeah.
And again, we sort of fine tune on those. But we've got a meeting basically every week. Now, we can speak more than that during the week. It doesn't have to be that they have to wait for the whole week to pass for us to speak or anything like that. But then, even past that 12 weeks, where again, every 6 weeks we'll have a formal BD meeting, planning, doing things that's going to effectively help you grow your business, earn more money, all those sort of things. So it's predominantly ongoing. So whether or not you've been in it for a day, or we've had some of our travel counsellors now for almost 10
Nearly
years.
10 years,
Yeah, it hasn't stopped.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop at all.
Yeah, it doesn't. And it really does depend on, your needs and what you want at that time in your business, doesn't it? So, we say that at least every 6 weeks you will talk to your business development coach, but if you need to talk to them Two days, every day. You need to send a text, you need to send an email, and that's what we're there for.
Yeah, we do. And we have some TCs who can be very, very independent, if you like, and don't require that high level of touch. But we've got some of our, amazing gold TCs who are, extremely successful in their business, and we'll talk to them several times, a week.
A week, yeah.
So there's absolutely no limit on that.
No. And I guess let's talk about your role as well, but there's also a lot of training that we do, isn't there, in terms of on the road and things like that. Could you briefly touch on that for us?
Yeah, we do on the road training, we do in-house training, and we do also webinar style training. And that training could be anything from using social media to airfares to our in-house reservation system for wholesaling, if you like, for hotels and what have you. New product launches, and also destinational training. So, and we tend to have a lot of our suppliers will come in and do webinars and sorts. So
heaps of product training as well. Yeah. It's ongoing.
You could be doing something really once or twice a week to help you basically grow your business again.
Yeah, exactly right. Now we've spoken about building your business and all of that kind of stuff, but how does Travel Counsellors, and I guess your role more particularly, help people earn more than they ever have before? Is it the matter of you helping them build that through, showing them how to use Phoenix?
Yeah, using Phoenix, using basically the tools at hand. We've got a lot of tools where even when I had my own business in retail travel, which had what we have here today, basically the strengths of the contact centre, the strengths of Phoenix, and the knowledge that we have in the office and with TCs collectively, because we tend to be able to bounce off a few ideas through a lot of people here. And it could be anything from, again, winning an ungettable booking, thinking about big picture ideas. Some of our TCs have had some amazing big picture ideas of, grand, huge bookings. We're talking about several hundreds of thousands of dollars of bookings, and they come through. They come through to fruition because we've taken it from the very infancy of an idea to the end final product. So it really is only as limited to your own imagination, basically.
Yeah, great. Thank you for joining us, Simon. Is there anything that you would like to say to someone who's thinking of joining Travel Counsellors? Question without notice, I know.
Question without notice, yeah. But look, to be honest, I think it's and feel free to ask us questions and everything like that. But I think it's probably one of the best things you'll ever do in respect to going and owning your own business, because we talk about this a lot, Veronica, but the level of support that the business owner has, if you like, from a back office point of view. Now, anybody involved in travel or been involved in travel in a retail level would always know that their managers and their shop owners are always, knee-high in paperwork, doing reconciliations, doing balancing, doing all sorts of things. Whereas here, you can come here and you basically all you need to do is take care of your customers, sell, because all the back office stuff is done here.
Yeah, exactly.
And that you get nowhere.
Yeah, great. Yeah. Thank you again, Simon.
You're welcome. Thank you.
We're just going to take a little bit of a break, and then we'll come back and talk about some of the events that are going on around the country in the next month or so. Just checking we're all in the right spot, and I'm looking at the right camera after moving around quite a bit. So thanks again to Simon for joining us and for sharing with us exactly what a BD coach does, but more importantly, allaying hopefully some of your fears about starting your own business and building your own networks and being able to build an unbelievably successful business at a really fast rate, if that's what you wish to do with Travel Counsellors. So I guess moving on from there, and we spoke about next steps and booking in demos and having one-on-one conversations, but we are also having some events around the country in the coming months. So if you could just show that slide for me, please, Rob. We've only got a few things on this time round, both in Melbourne and Sydney. So we've got a Melbourne Roadshow on next week on Wednesday. Now that's a really good one if you're in the Melbourne area or would like to come in. We actually host that in our head office, so it gives you a good chance to see our head office and hopefully meet some of the team, but to also find out a lot more about who we are as a business, and it's certainly more about who we are as a business rather than our systems and things like that, but it's a really good insight into who Travel Counsellors are. And then we'll be up in Sydney as well on Friday the 7th and Saturday the 8th of October. So if you're interested in coming along to any of those events, please either register on our website or give me a call on 1300 769 559, or you can email to connect@travelcounsellors.com.au. But also, if you happen to be in other areas, other states, other major cities, other regional areas, please feel free to give me a call, and we can arrange to speak remotely via webcam or Skype. But I do travel around the country most of the time, so I'm usually in your state every 2 or 3 months, so we can arrange something then if you would prefer from a face-to-face perspective. But that's it for this month. Thank you so much for joining us, and hopefully we have been able to give you some more information on how we can support you to build that really successful business, and hopefully you're not as scared as you might have been before the start of the show. But thanks for joining us again, and we'll see you next month.